Do you recognize your organization rolling out new frameworks or even trainings and trying not to confuse your people, overload them? They are just playing the game. With Team Accelerator and Boardroom Facilitator Oliver Gabor, I dig into why leadership now is less about tools and more about how you show up. Clarify who before the why. Ask questions upwards for explanation. To create a time for real alignment, so your team can carry the vision authentically. Like this episode, subscribe to our channel, and DM Future to continue the conversation. My name is Arjan Visser, human-centered futurist and your host. Oliver, welcome to the Alt Journey podcast. It's great to have you.
Thank you very much. Some nice greetings out of a very rainy and cloudy Switzerland.
It's not much better on this end of the world either. So. Well, thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Sure, so, me too.
I'm just starting with the hard question, so we get done with that one. What if the most powerful way to accelerate your team is not about processes or metrics, but about how leaders show up and grow themselves?
Yeah, I would say yes, it is, because in the age of AI, I think a lot of things regarding methods and a lot of things also regarding processes will be done by AI. So by the end of the day, it's all about the people working together. And as you know, when leaders just got into their role and they can be like very passionate and lead their team, I think this is like the all-time secret maybe. So it's not just about the hard facts, and especially not in the future. So it will be getting more and more into social skills and soft facts in the future. That's my strong belief.
I think that's a really important thing, what we just mentioned, like with AI, all the things that we optimize can be done soon, very soon by AI. So what's left is us being human.
True. And that's also the things I feel from my customers. So for all the tasks and processes and things, they're using more and more AI. So it's not about I would say, process things that much anymore, because AI can help very, very fast and a lot with it. So it's more about getting people engaged, leading people. Why are people behaving differently? How can we cope with I would say difficult situations in a team? So these are the questions which are rising now and also in the future.
And that touches actually what we actually most of the episode of the Alt Journey podcast talk about is about who are we becoming as a human being, as a leader, and what do we bring forth in our teams? What do we bring with us, and what do we give our teams as a leader? And in that perspective, AI, like you mentioned, that produces a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
And that really puts the pressure on us humans. Are we able to have the capacity to actually carry the decisions that needs to be made based on all that content? And in the heart of it is, how do we catalyze our own growth as a leader? Because before we know, we could leave that behind.
Yeah, could be a position. But I think in the end, it's not just about the leaders. That's also why my company is called Team Accelerator, or the German original would be Teambeschleuniger, which is very hard to pronounce for a lot of English speaking people. But it's also about the team. So you as a leader, if you just go into the front and try just to pull people behind you, it will not work, as we all know. So it's also very much about how the team connects with each other, with the leader, and how you can maybe also get people into new directions so they work better together as a team. Because if you're a good role model as a leader, that's maybe a good starting point. So people start to follow your behaviors. They start to follow if you just get along as a role model. But in the end, they also need to grow themselves. So I think that's why I will have a lot of work to do still in the future and still in the world of AI.
Yeah. So leaders inspire their the team members. Um, and what is the best example you can give as a leader is how you grow yourself from the inside out. So you inspire your team members to also do not separate the personal growth with the business performance, but see and find how they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. They should, because that's a good example I was experiencing when I was joining a new team, when I was still employed in a company. And then I met my new boss, and I was working in consulting before, but new company, new roles, what you can do, cannot do, how the expenses work, etc. And it was so a cool memory I still have, that he was like, just do the same as I do. And I was like, okay, so can you just explain, the rules, how we should behave? Is there any dress code, how we do certain things at customers? And it's just like, you have now the opportunity. We have the same customer. So just get with me. We go there and you just see how I do it. And if you do it the same, you're actually following all the company rules and behaviors you should. And if there are any questions, just ask me any questions. And this was so like, wow, and fresh and okay. So I can just somehow follow him and learn and see how he does it and what he does. And that was so fresh, and there was like no pressure, Otherwise it's like, okay, new company, I need to like learn all the things they do differently, to not behave like completely different the others do. So that was very fresh to see, okay, he's like leading as a leader in a way of just follow me. You cannot go wrong in just doing the same thing as I do.
And that's a great example. I'm just wondering, how long did it take you um, to fully let go? That please tell me what you expect, what I need to do. How long did that take?
Not that long, to be honest, because if I had any questions, I was just asking in a way of, okay, I learned a lot this week maybe, but there are like two things I'm not quite sure why you do it like this. And is it supposed to go like this? Because I did it like completely different in my old company. And so it was very easy to get along. And because I like a structured approach, but sometimes I'm not that good, or I don't want to follow all the rules. So I somehow find my way. And in this case, I did not have to find my way, because it was just so easy to follow and to ask some questions. So that was pretty cool, to be honest. And I adapted very fast, as you were asking.
How much does this experience change your perspective on leadership?
Oh, very much, very much. And in hindsight, I was thinking of all like the team leads or department leads I had in the past before that. And I can just remember why I liked some of them and why I did not like some of them. And the conclusion was each leader which gave me a lot of freedom, but also like clear rules I really appreciated, so I could go like my own path, but exactly know where to turn left and right because there were some certain rules in place. And I think after my studies, my first boss, he was very different. So he was just not talking anything with me. I had no clue sometimes what to do, where to go, where to do stuff. And if I asked some questions, he was like, I'm just leading the team. I cannot give you any advice, which is like technical or how you should behave, find your own way. And I was like, okay, so what do you know? And why are you my team lead? And yeah, that was maybe the baddest example of a team lead I've ever had. And the others, maybe I also had a bit of luck or we just get along very well together. But since then, I had like really matching team leads, which always tried to give me a lot of freedom and some strict rules. Or as I mentioned, my like role model team lead, which was like very cool to experience.
Just makes me think back of some people in my team, and some people really wanted to hear the instruction,
Hmm.
and you try to empower them every time they ask you, what do you want? Well, you mirror the question. You say, well, actually, what I want is you to open up and find your own way.
Hmm.
Um, but for some people, that was really hard to let go. So
Yeah.
it was hard to grasp uh, a self awareness, and they would rather know when they comply. And I had other people who kept telling me with the same approach, like the example you gave, and they said, "You don't give me freedom to find my own way." And those people said, "Well, but you know, everyone needs to be empowered to
Hmm.
carry according to their capacity, responsibility, um, putting their creativity at work, make sure work is meaningful. But not everyone changes the vision, you know?
Absolutely.
There are people that carry the vision. So the vision is in a way the boundaries in where in between everyone is has a level of freedom to play the game, but there's someone being the referee, like this is the game we play. And there was like two extremes,
Hmm.
but being empowered makes you powerful.
Yeah.
And there is a point that you have to look in the mirror as a team member, like, oh, I'm a team player, and do I have the courage to actually step in the game and be fully me and give fully me in the play?
Hmm.
But it's not as easy. So um, that's what I remember. But I love the example because I'm always like, oh, great freedom, and I can
Yeah.
challenge.
It's not always that easy because, that's always like if you're on a journey and you're just get to know different customers and different views on things. And yes, there are just team members. If you just do the example, if you don't want that people are starving from hunger, don't give them the fish, learn them how to fish. But there are certain people, they just don't want to learn fishing. They just want to have the fish. So they get fed. And this is also something that there are teams, you just need to accept it. Because there are people with like zero passion doing a work which they just can earn some money. And if they are in the same team as the others that are really passionate about the job and they really like go the extra mile for everything, you need to get along with both types in a team. And I think this is what makes also leading a team very exceptional in a way of you need to get along with all of these types of people.
So it's not always about alignment.
No.
So how do you, let's get deeper into this example.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that are just chasing performance and ticking the box. And at the same time, there are people that if you give them a little bit of room, they pioneer and they come with the greatest breakthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all in the same team. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh, let's create two different teams.
Mm-hmm.
How do you bring that together?
I think sometimes you just need to like let people do their thing, because sometimes they not even like disturbing someone or like pushing someone in the wrong direction. I think the best example is one I also experienced myself, working for a company where they introduced Scrum, but on like every software and hardware team in the company. And in one hardware team, they had like really a good guy doing hardware development. And fun fact, he was the only one. So actually the whole company relied on his hardware development and capability. And this was a typical engineering guy. You know, you just throw some requirements at him. He will ask you some questions. And 1 year later, he will just turn up with the product and he will be like, okay, that's the next generation of hardware we will use. And you're like, wow, crazy. And it will run like 100%. So he's a genius. But, you know, he's a very like tough guy to handle and he don't likes to speak that much. And now you come around the corner and you're like, let's do some Scrum in each and every team. Let's go. We first start with some daily Scrums. Each morning we just stand together. You said what you've done yesterday. What will you do today? And what are impediments we need to get out of your way? And you know, 9 people are like, oh, wow, let's do this. And the one hardware guy is, why should we do that? And everyone is like, because it's Scrum, we need to do, you know, we need to follow the framework. So come on, let's stand together. He was like, I don't give a shit. You know what I do? I'm doing the hardware for the whole company. So don't ask me like stupid questions every morning. I will do my job, you know, and you know that I deliver 100%. And people don't accept it. Him not joining any of these daily scrums, any of these scrum or sprint reviews and sprint demos. He was just like at the side. The result was he got upset in like a few weeks. And as you know, he was a single man, also typically for a nerd like him. He was never taking any holidays and he had over hours like, I don't know, just very much over hours. So he was just giving his signing and said, okay, I will leave the company. And he left in 7 days. So hardware development stuck, I think, for at least 2 years in that company because they hired like 2 other guys, or at least 3 guys doing the same work, could not cope up to the level like from today to tomorrow. So they needed a lot of time, lost a lot of money, and lost a lot of reputation just because they were not able to get along with someone not accepting the new method. Because you could just say to him like, okay, let's have like a different, how you say, a different arrangement with you. So we will still do Scrum, but if this just impacts your work that much and you don't feel well treated, let's have a discussion and find a way. But everyone was like just looking forward, and you know, Scrum is the new shit to do because this was like 12 or 13 years ago. So their Scrum was like the new shit to do. And that's good or like a bad example for me, how you can just lose a lot of money, a lot of reputation, just because you try to push someone into a box.
I think this is a great example, and I assume many people recognize this, and I think we should learn from it. because Scrum is not a new thing. But when we come up with a new thing, we start to implement a tool as an ideology. Instead of that, we carry together the vision and we empower everyone to have their most meaningful and purposeful personal growth expressed in business value.
Mhm.
And then with the ideology, we become religious immediately,
Absolutely.
and it blocks the people.
Yeah.
It creates a duality, in or out,
Yeah.
and it creates so much tension. Well, actually, there is already enough pressure on the leadership because it's a human job. Leadership
It
is not
is.
management. No, it's a human job, and everyone is different. So it's already really complex. And now you want to add such an ideology. Although it sounded great on the PowerPoint, but it
It
is,
did. It did. Yeah.
people now need to comply to the tool while we were actually executing a vision, which was already hard enough to get everyone on board and understanding it and expressing it in an authentic way themselves.
Yeah. But sometimes even the vision is not clear for everyone. So this leads to certain things like I was booked for a series of, I think, 12 or 15 Scrum trainings in a big pharma company. And they just sent random people there. Like they registered for something which was, I think it was an agile boot camp or called something similar. I don't remember. But like facility managers came just into the training. And I was doing half-day Scrum with them. And one other colleague was doing half-day design thinking with them. So they had no clue about the vision, why they need to attend this training. And then they are coming to my training and I'm like, okay, let's do some agile practices. It's so cool, that you can just pull your work and decide how much you want to do and how much you're capable of doing. And then let's have some insights of Scrum and how we do it. And then in the break, one facility manager just approaches me and he's like, I'm in the wrong training somehow. And I'm like, okay, so what do you do? He's like, I'm facility manager. I'm just checking if the heating systems of these buildings are okay. And if they are not, I'm going to repair them. So it's like that easy. And I was like, okay, so what did you expect? And he was like, I was just sent here because like the whole company is doing Agile and Scrum. So I also need to adapt to it with my team. And I'm like, okay, so do you do like some iterative things in your job, which are like plannable for 2 weeks? And he's like, no, why you're asking? I'm like, yes, because this will be a fit with any of the frameworks I know, which I also will teach you in the training. Is like, no, it's like sometimes I would need to have like 5 phones because all the time my phone is ringing, I cannot even work. So it's like spontaneous work we do, and I cannot like plan for 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, so maybe you would need to look in something different, like a Kanban board or something. But this was not part of the training. So I was just allowed to talk about like agile mindset and Scrum. So after lunch, he was just like walking away. He was not even doing the design thinking stuff in the afternoon. But this is also like the company just wanted to have everyone on board. Doesn't matter what the job is, what they think. So they just pushed the vision, which like I would say nobody understood. Not even the people working in development or software there in the company. So they completely failed. But I think in the end, this is also the kind of training, maybe you also experience some of these, that companies just do to like, that they can say, we did it. So what else can we do? We transformed the whole organization. So we provided training. So we like just tick the box and yeah, the people were not getting it somehow, but we did what we could. So it's not on us anymore.
Actually, this happens a lot. And what you just said, like at the beginning, when you mentioned AI, And for AI, we don't need to understand the tools that much and get certified in this level and that level. We need to
That's the new
increase.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to increase our capacity as a human being to carry the responsibility. So when we talk about a vision, we want the people to carry the vision with us. Actually, we expect them to own it in an authentic way. And then they come to whatever meeting because they were ordered to show up. So
Yes.
so they come in like, okay, it was not my choice. I'm overruled. Here I am. And then you start with the vision um, and helping them to carry it, and they have no capacity for that.
Mhm.
And the tool based, the skill based mastery trainings are great for executing. But what we ask our people today is to increase as a human being the capacity and the possibility to carry with us vision, execution, perspective, the big load of data that comes out of the tools now that do the processes.
Mhm.
So in a way, we need to gear up as leaders, as organizations, that we help our people to gain that level of maturity to be ready to make the next step with us.
Mhm.
And
But most of the time, people don't even get time for all the things that you were now just listing as some bullets in a way of they get a vision, they like getting asked for some alignment in the company, but actually they never get time in doing so. So it's like, okay, we have a vision, we have some things to do, we should align to each other, but just please do it in your daily work. So you're not allowed to like do any extra question hours or events to somehow discuss how we should adapt as facility managers, how we should adapt as development, how we should adapt as like operations stuff. So this would be the cool question to ask. So where do you give us time to do alignment, to ask ourselves questions, to go deep into the topics which are just pushed on our table? Because if we go back to operations, people will never change because they don't get the time to even think about it.
I absolutely agree. And I think that points out the issue
Hmm.
because the people are operationally so overloaded. And we talk about that everything could change with tools like AI. And then I'm talking about the lowest form of AI, who takes over everything that's repeatable and sequential.
Hmm.
And then we want the people to switch roles. So now they are micromanaged,
And then they are free.
and then they are free, and we expect them to micromanage AI. So the micromanagement is never meant to be on people, but it is meant to do on the repetitive processes.
Hmm.
So the the people will reject the micromanagement, and are already done. And now the big invitation and the big step up is still to come. So the team alignment, I guess, needs to help the people to be prepared.
Hmm. But yeah, sometimes we also forget that, we have our own companies. So we make a lot of choices which are aligned to us, which are aligned to our vision, to our value, because we can. But I think we forget a lot that people just doing a job in a company, they need to align. So they have actually no choice. So if you just playing the same game but applying different rules, they don't have any choice to like just step aside and say, I don't like it anymore. So if we now have a football game with red and yellow cards, and now you just entered with a white and the black card, which is totally new and like really gets a new game for me. I need to align, but I cannot. So what do we do? In our case, if we have, for example, customers that do not align to our values, or maybe you have like a strong gut feeling that, oh, this will not go out that well, you can just refuse and say, okay, that's not aligning to my vision, that's not aligning to my values. Just not because you're good or I'm good and you're bad, it's just because we're not aligning, so we just skip. And I think we often forget that a lot of people which are employed don't have the opportunity to skip alignment, and they're getting forced, but they don't get the time for it and they don't get asked any questions. So that's the tough thing, I would say.
It comes back to the leadership. If the leadership is inspiring the people to learn for themselves, they need to create that environment and model learning themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if the leadership is not doing that, if the leadership is processing everything they know through their current state of knowledge and self-awareness, then they are not inspiring their people to grow.
Yeah.
Because then the people will react, I know as well, this is what I know, this is it. And there's this huge opportunity to learn, and that makes life and work as part of, or probably we spend most of our hours working, makes it purposeful and meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
So if a leader is listening
Mm-hmm.
and just realizes that they are relying on old habits and in a way creating external pressure to lead their team, what's the first shift they can make to lead more with authenticity from the inside out to inspire their people?
I think we will just get back to the role model thing, I would say. So be you yourself, just try to get your values from the inside out, because that's also a big challenge for a lot of leaders. They don't want to make themselves hurtable. So they just try to build up a shield instead of just saying what's inside of them, what they are thinking, and why it's maybe also important to align. Because sometimes a lot of, especially new leaders, they get some decisions from top down, and instead of just maybe adapting them and give it to the team, they're just pushing it to the team, and sometimes the teams don't understand why. And if you cannot explain a decision to your team, you're just getting like you're not getting the good leader you should be, because people will question all your decisions because they somehow realize, okay, he always makes some micromanagement orders which he cannot explain. So why should we trust him in the future? So I think this is a good starting point to try to just explain from the inside out.
Yeah. Makes me think back of what we said in our early days as being a business facilitator. You know, if your manager asks you something and you don't get it, ask him to show it. You know, do it first.
Yeah.
And in a way that thought comes back, because wherever you are in the organizational structure, if you get an instruction, an assignment, then it's your answer to, they call you, you answer. So in a way, if it's not clear, don't push the uncertainty and the unclarity down, but go back up and lead up
Mm-hmm.
before you lead down, to get the clarity. And that could mean that you just ask those who gave you the instruction, can you show me?
Mm-hmm. Or can you explain me why? Because sometimes it's very easy, but a lot of the leaders don't ask the upper management why they put something new in place. Because sometimes the rule sounds like very stupid, but if you get the explanation, it's very easy. I just make an example of you're getting your laptop and you need to sign like 10 pages of documents. And then you're like, okay, why do we need to sign 10 pages of documents in this company? And if you're the first type of leader, which just got the documents from HR and just give it to the new employee, and if he or she asks you why I need to sign 10 pages, you're like, I don't have no clue. It's a shitty company rule. Don't ask me. Just sign it, please, because otherwise I need to take your laptop away. That's the baddest example. So at the end, you should be a very good leader in a way of, okay, HR puts me down the 10 pages. I'm just asking, okay, so this is something new. I never saw that before. What did change? And if they explain, we had some people just don't returning the laptops, and we need to clarify that it's a company laptop. And if they if they get fired in the first 3 months, they need to put it back immediately. Otherwise, we have some rules, and so on and so on. And if you know, that's very easy to explain. So if new employees ask, why the hell I need to fill out 10 pages and sign them, then you can easily explain, we had this and that in the past, and we just want to be sure that our company is safe and that you are also feeling comfortable, and so on and so on. So you can easily explain, and people, I think 90% of them will understand and say, okay, yes, I got it. Okay, some bad things happened in the past. That's why I need to sign. But that's, I think, a huge difference, especially to new employees.
Yeah, well, just make it closer to home. If you would have raised your kids with an instruction, and the first right question would be why, and we all know kids always ask why.
Sure.
So it's the most natural, organic question.
Mm-hmm.
It's
is.
not annoying. It's the question that deserves an answer. And if you as a parent then would say, don't ask me why, because I was told to do this as well as a kid, and then you expect to have to make world changers, raise world changers,
Will not.
and not have terrible teens. But you create an obstacle, because the purposeful question why is dismissed as not relevant, and that's weakness, not the shield to protect and be vulnerable, but not knowing the why and just pushing it down the line.
Yeah. But that's a good example, especially if I think back to our first questions about the role model as a leader, because that's also something I always need to smile a bit if I see parents not wearing a helmet on a bike, but their children's. And then I'll be like, how could you? So how did you explain this to your kids? How? So it was like, why is daddy not wearing a helmet? Because I'm an adult, and then I know how to drive a bicycle. But then my kid would ask, but daddy, what happens if a car just hits you? I'm like, I'm an adult. A car won't hit me because I have a look. So sometimes it's just that easy. And what is like so natural maybe in coping with your family or raising your kids, it should also be in your company. So if you're having like 100 francs of expenses and you're not allowed to go over, and people just see on Instagram splashing the bottles of champagne with your customers, but at the same time they know, but how did he pay? Because the expenses just go until 100. So maybe not the best idea. So if you stick to it, that's, I think, a good
And
thing
actually,
to do.
the bicycle one is a very, very nice one. I just remember we live close to a school, and you see the little kids sitting behind their parents in a seat on the bicycle, wearing a helmet that is way too big, but they're growing, and then the parents not. And just imagine that the kid would just pull the jacket of mom or dad and say, "Why are you not? You know, you are riding the bike. I'm just sitting here behind you." Like, and every time it comes by, you think this is really weird, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
So,
that means you demand your kids to wear a helmet for safety, and you're
yeah,
not modeling it. And actually that shows how close the blind spot is there, and how much it is needed. That we become honest about that.
absolutely. And I think people really underestimate that if you're a leader, your team will copy a lot of the things you do.
Yeah.
And you can either tell them, hey guys, just copy what I do. You will always like do the good thing. But also, if not, they will. So if you are behaving like bad to employees, they will also behave bad to each other. If you do not make any decisions, they will also tend to just draw back on any decision. And that's also a big thing about leadership is that if your boss is pushing you, you don't need to push your team. So what behavior you're getting from the outside, you do not need to push it into your team. So I think that's also a good leader, that he or she is not just pushing the same way other people do on them. So they also try to protect their team and to go their own way and own path. That's important.
Before I ask what are the 3 takeaways, how can people connect with you?
Just go on LinkedIn. So I think that's the easiest way to connect. You see my name somewhere, I assume.
I'll add the
So
link to the description in the description.
you add the link to the description. So if you're brave enough and your German is really good, then you just type in www.teambeschleuniger, which is one word, .ch, and just come along, or you just type in Teambeschleuniger or Oliver Gabor into LinkedIn, and you will see the same nice guy smiling at you, holding some Lego bricks. So then you know, okay, you're at the right spot. And like the 5% of the people that are looking the same on LinkedIn as they do in reality, as also you do, Arjan, because I love, people having the spot on studio AI photo on LinkedIn. And if you see them in reality, they look like 10 years older, wearing different glasses and having a different haircut. So don't worry, you will see the same person on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, my photo is not that bad, and it's not that old. It's a recent photo.
Yeah. So that's why I say you're not that type of person. So is very authentic to yourself, which is now on the podcast video.
So, Olivier, what are the 3 takeaways?
I would say be authentic as a leader. Try to give your team a lot of freedom in a way of just being the role model of the team. And the third one would be don't expect things from your team which you are not doing. That would be my 3 takeaways.
Yeah. I would just want to wrap that one up. And it's not a choice to be an inspiration for your people or to model, because you will do it anyway. It's the choice to become self-aware and conscious about who you are, who you want to become, and what you want to model, because else you are just modeling your blind spot and you will influence your people. So make sure it counts and doesn't hurt.
Oh, that's a good one. That's very nice. Wow, that's like a book ending. That's you're just wrapped it up very well, to be honest.
Then we leave it here because we can only
Absolutely.
go downhill now. Thank you very much, Oliver, for your time and for your insights and wisdom.
Always welcome.
And I want to thank everyone who tuned in and stayed with us till the end. And I trust it resonated with you. And perhaps it even sparked something that's meaningful for your own journey. And if it did, please share in the comments. We love to interact with you. And if you can't wait for next week for another episode, I also want to invite you to explore the future with us. You're invited to join the Alt Dialogue, an exclusive peer dialogue for visionary leaders where we continue conversations like this, reflection with each other, so that our thinking and our thoughts are provoked. Just DM Future and I'll make sure you got the right details. See you there.